Good afternoon, people. So hopefully everybody's okay. We're going to be starting anytime soon. So obviously I'll just put the stuff on. I'm having a look up the name. You can say hello in the chat. Lovely to virtually see you. I can see a few people I know. So bonjour, Marie. Such a shame we're not doing that. We can see each other in real life, but that's the way it works these days, isn't it? So we'll probably be starting the webinar in about 3 minutes. Let people time to get in. Grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, or whatever your drink of preference. Hopefully not gin and tonic straight away. And, and I'll see you shortly. Start shortly. Hello from Romania. Excellent. Fabulous. Again, feel free to say hello and on the chat. Say where you're from. Say what school you're in. I'm sure you have plenty of time today to watch the amazing, as I hear, Super Saturday. There are lots and lots of amazing people presenting this afternoon. So hopefully you had time, or this afternoon, this morning, and yesterday too, obviously. So hopefully you had time to have a look and take a few notes on these fabulous presentation. So I'm going to give it 2 more minutes, and we'll be starting off. Share my screen. Got to put my presentation on. There we go. Once again, well done. Well done. Welcome to all the people who are just arriving. Lovely to have you here. Thanks for coming to watch the webinar. And some of you, again, I recognize the name of, and the new people, I don't know you, but thanks for turning up, especially with the Super Saturday with all these amazing people online. So I really appreciate you turning up. 1 more minute or a bit less, so a few seconds. It starts at 49 and let's go. Yeah, feel free to, I'll try to see if you're putting some stuff in Q&As and I'll have a look if there's anything popping in or popping up. I will have a look at it and try to answer the questions at the same time. Otherwise, at the end, you will have the occasion to ask a few questions if you have any. Okay, cool. North Wales. Okay, Mold, not far away from me. And Shrewsbury or in the area. Hugs from Belgium. Amazing. Chocolate. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Maidstone, North London. Finnish in Bristol. Finnish. That's such a hard language, Finnish. Nice one, Kirsty. Lovely. Hello from Germany. Oh, that's amazing. Wow, cool. And Romania also. Brilliant. So French. Okay. Brilliant. Okay, 2 more messages. Yeah, that's it. Neural language coach. Wow, cool. Right, let's go. Let's start the webinar. So welcome and thank you for coming up. Poem recitation. I'm gonna get rid of that. And art creating to engage learners. So all the images you're gonna see on the presentation I've created on AI. So sadly, I'm not an artist, but I want to make sure that I'm using some stuff which are kind of mine somewhere somehow. So it's kind of mine. but not quite mine, but it's all done by AI. Okay, let's go. So just to start it off, it's you'll see that I've got a little slide with yes, the EOL. So we, as you know, plus plenty of people are part of the EOL, Association for Language Learning, and there are tons and tons of people today who are actually watching it, and you can see that if you want to be part of the group, it's amazing. You get a magazine, you have access to all sorts of CPDs and stuff like that. So again, highly recommended. I've been a member for a while, and you have a kind of discount code there at the bottom to have a 10%, which is always worth it. You just need to scan the QR code, and I'll now have a look at the website. I think it's very, very worth it. It's nice and lovely to be part of the community, which is the whole community. Let's move on. Right. A little bit about me. So I've been, I'm French, even though I've been in England for over 20 years, still have that very thick accent, I'm afraid, but that's what it is. So I've been teaching French for over 20 years and Spanish and other subjects. I teach IT and innovation too. I've been head of MFL in a Shropshire school, in prep school for 16 years. I'm also passionate about education technology, and I do lots of things with ed tech and innovation. And I also do some stuff with Microsoft and Google, and I'm quite it's written Flipgrid is Flip, obviously, and I do things for the Student Voice with Flip, who I think is a fabulous app or Microsoft. Also, as you may have seen just behind me at the beginning, I've created Poesiae, which I'll be talking about later on. But also, I've been doing some work with the language with Gianfranco Conti and Dylan Viñales. We've been translating, adapting, editing books. We've been working on lots of different, from creating little booklets and translating and adapting their books for grammar and primary and stuff like that. Editing a new one at the moment with another lovely lady, and with Aurélie Le Tuilier that you may have seen before or heard. And we're working on we're editing a new book. It's going to be coming out probably in the new year. It's amazing. Right, let's go. It's why poetry. So, in my humble opinion, this is kind of of the layout of the presentation. So I think, in my humble opinion, poetry, you engage multiple linguistic skills, so the pronunciation, intonation, rhythm, vocab, grammar. You can do everything with that. Poems are concise. You can make them sometimes a bit longer. You have a profound expression of emotions. You have culture, which I think is amazing. You can also put the culture into it, and you have a worldview. You can develop oral expression, confidence, enhance creativity and motivation, and also it helps creating memories. I think memories are so important, especially when you're teachers, but I will speak about that in a bit. Right, linguistic skills. Let's go. So what I do is when I started doing this teaching with poetry in school, I always try to teach what the basic things are. It's nice cross-curricular activity, and usually it's nice to work with English teachers and with cross-departmental. So we have ver and verses and stuff and rhymes and things. I teach them about all these types of rhyme. In French, obviously, you have the embrasser and croiser, but obviously, if you do in Spanish, it's not other names, and German. But I think it's always very, very nice for them to know that it's kind of a repetition, and usually quite confident. Most of the time they know all these things, but it's nice to be learning it in another language. I like working with acrostics, as you can see there, and I like also working with calligrams. Calligrams is always a very lovely thing to do with them. They love creating little calligrams in class, and you can see the word lapin here. Right. This is an example of one of the poems I've been working with, called L'Oiseau du Colorado by Robert Desnos. So you have L'Oiseau du Colorado, and you can see the rhymes that are highlighted here for you. But also this, you're going to be working with that with the children. So we have to identify the rhyme. So you read it, they hear it, they know what you're doing. They can hear that these are looking like, okay, you can see that you have an O here, but this is written EAUX. So again, you can do a bit of pop-up phonics, and it's O and mangarine and do and moo and sirop again here, and autruche and cruche and navet. So different types of A also there. So it's brilliant for pop-up phonics. choral repetition, so you can start working and having them repeating just after you again, working. I quite like working with sentence builders and things like that. So I think it works very nicely. And if you work with the Mars ears, with EPI, obviously are slightly biased, but I'm an EPI enthusiast, but if you don't have to work that way, there are many ways of teaching and whatever works for you, really. But I think if you are in the modeling and awareness raising, which are the Mars ears thing, you can do these games kind of mind reading. So if you're not aware of what mind reading is, yeah, I will be asking the children once we've seen the text a few times. Okay, what line am I thinking of? I'm gonna have to repeat the line they have in front of them there. And if they're right, it's great. They get a point or something, get a point from their teams and stuff like that. So if I'm thinking about L'Oiseau du Colorado, and they say Bois du Champagne du Sillon, so it's not the right one. But it's a way for them to repeat and repeat and repeat again these words. Faulty echo, the same thing. So you'd be reading twice the same line, for example, and you're going to be making a couple of pronunciation mistakes. They have to identify the mistake in it. Again, it's a way also to make them think about what they hear. Fireball, you say it, and they have to repeat back at you. And if you're not aware of sentence stealers, I think it's great game. Again, EPI, Gianfranco Conti orientated, but it's very fun. The children will have to copy that on post-its, for example, and they copy 2 or 3 of them. And after they go around the class, they have 2 minutes. They speak to each other, which is usually the point, and they try to pronounce it. And they think, okay, I think you have du chocolat de mandarin. If the person has got that one, they take it away. And after 2 minutes, if the people who got the most little pieces of post-it will win. They win a little prize, or again, some 6 points if you're in a 6, or a house point, or whatever works for you, whatever type of reward system you have. But that's the way of working out, and worked out nicely. Again, another type of exercise you can do is you take the words out once they know the text and they have to put it back into it. You can do that as an oral exercise, or you can do it nicely with just as an exercise on paper, or you could be doing by team, or anyway, any possibilities, whatever works for you, whatever you fancy doing with that. Again, taking filling the blank type of exercise. What I've done here also in that respect is, again, you have mange and bois, so you have different things you eat and things you drink, and what I wanted them to manipulate the text by changing the food and changing the drinks and write their own poem. So again, it's a way also, if you're working with a topic, which in this case would be food and drinks, it could be continuing developing their vocab, or using their vocab again by just changing sucre de fraise and jus d'ananas glacé. They could be writing things like that. So it's always fun. It's a good way also to be practicing and to be the new vocab, or enhancing the vocab that you've learned before. Okay, talking about culture. Let's move on. So I think poetry is brilliant to introduce the class to culture. So if you have got older pupils, I've been teaching in between. When you teach prep school, you're sitting between the primary and secondary. So you got year 7, year 8. I've been obviously doing some stuff with GCSE too. So you could be going all sorts. If you go primary, you're going to be working with something slightly less complicated. But for the pupils, poetry often reflects value, history, societal norms of culture, and through poems, learners, you can get a glimpse of the emotional and social experience of people from another culture. Here, we've got a poem from Federico Garcia Lorca and called La Corrida y la Muerte, and it's all about bullfighting. And I think it could be a good start to a debate on bullfighting, for example. If you're doing Spanish, and what is right and wrong with it, and why is it part of culture and things like that. So it's always a good thing to spark a debate at the same time as having a poem. For younger pupils, you can be introduced something slightly different. So you have some themes, some traditions, some stories. You could be embedding some new language, and you have a rich context for culture ignorance and embedded in the language here. So here in my house, my wife is from Gran Canaria, from Spanish. So we've got plenty of books. We love books, and I love buying books too for my son. And this is a really lovely book. If you do Spanish, or if you know some people, I don't have any shares on that one, by the way, but it's a beautiful book, lovely drawings. It's called Versos de la Tierra, and there's lots of lovely little easy poem to be working with. and the brilliant. And here it was about Las Islas. My wife is from Gran Canaria, so here they was talking about the Canarias. So it would be a good way to be introducing the different islands in Spain, for example, and saying that not only Spain mainland, obviously you have all South America, but Spain is not only Spain mainland, you have all the islands around, and they could be using also in different cultures and different ways of pronouncing things and stuff. So that could be a good start also to speak about different islands. And here obviously you're talking about Australia with the different islands there too. But it's, again, beautiful book. Just bookmark it, get it on Amazon, put it in your basket. I think it's worth it. Lovely Christmas present too. Let's move on. Okay, so poetry can also help people understand, explore, express their personal and cultural identities. Okay, here you can see that. Okay, these ones actually taken from Canva. It is kind of we say not biased. Okay, it's really mainland type of things. Okay, obviously French, well, German. Obviously German is Austria. I speak German in Austria too, but so obviously Spanish is spoken obviously in Spain, but in South America and lots of different countries. And France, which is not only spoken in France, but here you have the images a bit biased. But again, you have to make them understand by using this type of things. There, they've got more an awareness of what the language is spoken and things like that. And where other place in the world you can speak the language. I think that's really, really important. French is not only spoken in France, and Spanish is not only spoken in Spain. Okay, I think this is one of the main things why I created Poesia. It's developing oracy skills, and I think that's so important. Why do we learn languages? I think, well, mainly for speaking. In many, many years' time, your pupils, my pupils, or people, they are not going to be writing letters to pen pals and talking about their pets and things like that. They're going to try to hopefully having conversation. I know with the rise of AI now, where all these things will be, all the translation will be done nearly instantly, but especially in the writing. But I think the speaking, when you're going to be visiting countries, is so important to be able to speak to people. And I think it's really, really important that people should be speaking the language. Grammar is important, obviously. Writing is also very important, and they have to take exams. I totally understand that. But I think speaking is very, very important. I think we should help people speaking the language. So we need to get our pupils to become confident. That's all that confidence, isn't it? It's all that pronunciation when it comes to be speaking in L2, but also it's about communicating well. Public speaking, I think, is very, very important. Public speaking, it needs to be taught early. I know that, for example, my son has been really fortunate since he's very, very small. They had the opportunities to be doing plays and reciting poems and doing all sorts of things in front of audiences. And just developing people's confidence, I think, is very, very important. Public speaking also, even if you go for interviews and stuff, or if you do an assembly in front of people, I think that's the kind of really something that you need to be developing at an early age to be able to do it. Now, it's nice and easy for me to do the webinar. I've got a few people watching me now, but I'm just in the comfort of in my office. In fact, comfort, not obviously not so comfortable. Luckily, you have that background. Don't see the mess behind me. But yes. It's easy to speak to my computer. I don't see you, sadly. But when you have to speak to an audience, you really have to get that confidence going. And us as teachers, we know that we don't have that issue now. We feel very confident to speak in front of people. So we need to be having each other go on stage, reciting a poem in a foreign language is really a fantastic feat for which increase their confidence levels and presentation skills and articulacy, and just really speaking well in front of people. So you probably were aware, I'm not going to be reading this, but Voice 21, obviously, it's all about getting that confidence in speaking in front of people. And again, you got again that confidence development. And I think, as I say, they think in their research that it also raises academic performance. Well, I hope that is, I think, according to that, is actually also the case when you feel very confident about something and speaking in front of people. Creativity. Creativity is one of my pet. I think it's really important in anything and everything. And I like the children to be creating things, even in the language lesson or in an IT lesson or an innovation lesson or all sorts of lessons. They have to be creating things to reinforce their learning. And this is also a good way here for us to poetry is also a good way to be promoting that creativity. So a quote from Mr. Leonardo da Vinci, that unknown painter. Painting is a portrait that is seen rather than felt, and poetry is a painting that is felt rather than seen. I think that was really perfect. It was putting the point out forward on that one there. So when you are creating something, you have like a personal learning experience. So you have two areas. You have the oral interpretation of the poem when you're seeing that poem, but also you have the depiction of the poem through art. And you've got Marie also here in the audience, who's also contributed and been part to Poesia and the Poesia art. She's created amazing a gallery online that I will be putting on Twitter soon. I think she didn't have all the things ready yet, but it's such an amazing thing that she's created that you will see all the drawings that people have been creating for the competition for Poesia art. It's just great to see that online. So as soon as I have it, I will put it on Twitter and people can share and have a good look at it. Oh, great, the children, the time they spent doing it, interpreting a poem with their teachers and stuff like that. So dedication, thanks to all the teachers are putting the time for the children to develop themselves. So each student interprets and connects differently to the poem. I think that's very important. And they're all going to be, I don't know, drawing things about food and stuff like that. If we're talking about the Oiseau de Colorado, could be having a different views of things. And also it promotes individual thought and perspective. I think that's also very important. If I go back to that too, actually, maybe the shy one, the people who don't really want you want to develop this oracy, they will not be maybe wanting to be doing that straight away. They not feel comfy reciting a poem, but they'll be probably more ready to be drawing something themselves and then interpret the poem their way on a piece of paper in their own time at home, maybe, for example. So that's probably the reason why they'll feel a bit more comfy about it. And doing that poem, when I created that Poesia art, I think that was the idea behind that. Also getting that creativity, but also helping the shyer one to be part also of the competition and doing something, even if they didn't want to speak or show their faces on the videos. Creation, again, so some kind of things are created on Canva and things that obviously you can find online, but also when you have a poem, it's a nice way to be creating something on the poem. Motivation. I do think that doing some kind of doing something slightly different, like the poetry and seeing poem is really creating some motivation, creating that a bit of competitivity in the class, and make sure that work is going to be going beyond the classroom or beyond the school. So it really, I think, helps out them to be learning. I think when they get all excited about doing something different and they speak to their parents and say, yeah, we're going to be doing this and this is going to that, and maybe I'm going to qualify for a final, maybe I'm going to be going to the to speak in front of the people and stuff like that. So that creates really some exciting things. This has been taken by the wonderful Liam Printer that you probably know, the Motivated Classroom. So I probably don't need to introduce Liam. He's fabulous. And you have the link there. I don't know if I'll be able to share my presentation, but there's a link also there to the podcast, but you can see it. It will reappear. But that's all about the intrinsic motivation, really. And it's divided into autonomy in three parts: autonomy, relatedness, and competence. And I'm not going to be reading out to you. But again, this intrinsic motivation really help out. They don't have to do it. They feel that really excited about a project by doing something different. And I really saw that happening many, many, many times. Always going to get the grumpy ones that people don't really want to do it, which is absolutely fair enough. It's like when you do a project, not everybody's excited about your project. But if you get, a lot of people really excited about something and they really want to do it and go the extra mile for it because it's a competition or something different, well, that you've done your job and that's really exciting. So we want to that really create that intrinsic motivation. It's not for a mark. I can see lots of things in the chat afterwards, so I'll probably be able to answer questions at the end. I do apologize. Again, it's got to be interesting, enjoyment, it's got to be challenging also at the same time. Right, creating memories. Homemade madeleines a while ago, you can see there. Yeah, I think creating memories is really, really important. I'm going to say something quite, I said not, I think, but it's, I'm struggling with words there. No, it's we as a teachers we are going to be remembered for what? Well, when you reflect a little bit, some people have been teaching for 5, 10, 15, 20 years or something like that. I've been teaching for quite a while now. And sometimes you see some of your old pupils and stuff, and you see them and say, how are you doing? Stuff like that. And some of them come back later and say, oh, I remember this, I remember that. So they're not going to be remembering your immaculate grammatical lessons that you've done on something. They're not going to be remembering that super lesson that you spend hours and hours doing, but they're going to be remembering things which are different, things I've been doing. Myself, I was lucky enough to be working above the cookery room, and I've done lots of stuff like that with the children. And last year we had an inspection, and for my inspection, but what did we do? I think I did a bit of a dare that one there, but we made some pancakes. We made some pancakes all in French, and the inspectors were really really happy about it, and the children were excited. They knew the vocab, they knew what to do, and that went out really, really well. So things like that, they're going to remember from my classes, and I think that's super important. Obviously, we need to have the facilities to do it. And I was very lucky to have that. Obviously, you can do all sorts of things like that, but doing things like that, something a little bit different. But when you obviously got the pressure of GCSEs and exams, it's much more complicated. But I think it's really worth doing it. So I created Poesia and Poesia Art. I've been talking for a while, and you can have a quick QR code here if you want to scan it and have a look at the website if you know part of it already. The results are going to be coming out soon. I've still got some one of the wonderful judges that were talking throughout the weekend. I've been part of that one, and I don't have all the results yet. But you want to create these memories, the children taking part in the competition and reciting their poem in front of the class and creating some amazing artwork and stuff like that. And if they go through the final, that's amazing. If they don't, it doesn't matter. They've done something for it, and they will remember the poems. I still remember poems that I did when I was in primary school, and the poems after years after, they still remember them. So I think that's really, really cool. So what I advise you to do, you don't have to do my competition, obviously not at all, but you can make a big school event to generate enthusiasm. You want to create posters, you want to get some prizes. And if your school struggles a little bit for money, try to see some local businesses. I've seen some people in Shrewsbury here. I went to the art shop, and they gave me some stuff for the competition. You have to speak to people, I think it's very important. You have to make the final public showdown. You have to invite the parents around, try to get an external judge from another school or someone that will be super happy to come and just see all these children reciting poems in foreign languages. That's super important. And if you can make it live on social media or share with people, obviously privacy and things like you have to be careful with all that stuff. I think that's super important. And just beyond the school, share all these events with the world to show that all the children and all the amazing work that you already do at school and that your children do in your school too. I had to speak a little about tech. I think it's really important too. There are lots of amazing things you can do these days with technology, especially when it's going to be coming to reciting, learning poems and stuff like that. You have Immersive Reader if you work with the Microsoft ecosystem, whereby you can hear the poem read to you. There are lots of things online too. You have TTS and stuff like that, which are going to be reading the poem in several languages, which is going to be very useful if the children learn online or at home. And if you have you can use also Immersive Reader on Microsoft Edge, for example, if you upload a PDF and stuff like that. You have these QR codes, which are videos I made on my YouTube channels. If you just scan them, you can have a look at how it works. It's really good. It really helps out in pronunciation and stuff like that, and it makes them really more confident. There's something called Reading Coach and Reading Progress, which are amazing. If you work with Microsoft, you don't have to use it, but if you have access to it, it's really, really good. You read your text to the computer, and they're going to be analyzing the performance of the children, and will point out the words they haven't pronounced properly. It could be like a homework type of thing, something like that. It works nicely too. And you could be using AI. ChatGPT-4 works wonders too. You can do all sorts of things like that. And been using quite a lot of ChatGPT. Joe Dale has done some amazing things, and some of the people this weekend have been talking about using ChatGPT. That you can do lots of good things. You have to check, obviously, that you're doing the right stuff with it. But you can have conversation with it, and it does work a real treat, I have to say. I'm thinking of, at the moment, creating a large event on the 21st of March called the Global Verse Fest. Hopefully some more things coming up soon about that, where people will be designing languages, designing poems and writing poems and stuff like that. So hopefully this is going to go through in March. There will be a bit more advertisement about it in the future. That should be quite a lot of fun, hopefully, just saying poems in different languages, and just on the day, no prizes, just something that people can do, and amazing teachers can see and do something a little bit different with you. And again, have you got any questions? I can see that there's a lot of people in the chat. I'm going to have a quick look into that now. If you have any questions to ask me, but this is the end of the webinar. Really, you're very welcome to ask any questions. Again, if you want to contact me, or I'll have a quick look at the on the side here, you have some QR codes about my Facebook for Poesia, YouTube channel, LinkedIn. You can send messages on X, also on the X Twitter. Good question. Okay, Global Verse Fest sounds exciting. So it is a big project I'm trying to work on. Got tons and tons of things. I will try to create that. All the information about that will be appearing in Jan, probably after Christmas. So that's Iris. I'm trying to have a look through the questions to see if I can see anything else, but feel free to ask. Actually, I'm going to go back and just get off my presentation if it wants me to do it. There we go. And I stop sharing my screen so I can see the Q&A. Get rid of my face there. Stop sharing. There we go. It's on the right-hand side. Okay. Oh, Captain, my Captain. The AI I've been using Midjourney, Marie, to be creating things. Obviously, you can use these days, if you have a Microsoft account, or if you use ChatGPT, you can use DALL-E, which is okay, but I really prefer using Midjourney. I think Midjourney is much more, I think, better at the moment anyway, in my opinion. A bit more tricky, but DALL-E and Midjourney is good, yeah. Again, it's been absolutely lovely to speak to you people. An absolute pleasure. Hopefully, it's been informative and giving you some food for thought. And have a lovely, enjoyable weekend. And again, feel free to contact me on X or something like that. To have any question, or have a look on the Poesia website. You can contact me through there too, and I'll be very happy to answer any questions you have. Have a lovely afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I shall see you soon. And doing show and tell tonight. If you have time, come and show. The Marie will be presenting some amazing things, and some other people also, they're going to be there too. So I'll come and have a look at the show and tell with Joe tonight and Helen. There'll be some really, really cool things there. See you later. Have a lovely afternoon. Take care. Bye, Marie. See you later. Bye-bye.